and welcome to the FA Show. I'm Allie. In this special episode, we've gathered together our coverage of the 2023 FutureProof conference. Now in its second year, FutureProof has separated itself from the pack as the model for what a wealth management conference can be, shedding all traditional roles and presenting information and inspiration in unique and thoroughly engaging ways. Held almost literally on the beach in Surf City, USA, Huntington Beach, California, FutureProof is 3+ days of content, connections, and concerts. We'll have more on that last part at the tail end of our show. Attendees were of course treated to top-notch panels, but the human touches are what makes this conference truly unique, with everything from meditation, yoga, and pizza-making classes to daily speed networking sessions that afforded access to top CEOs and industry influencers. Like Coachella or Lollapalooza, FutureProof has an iconic main stage, which, when not being filled with internationally known music acts, become the dominion of some of our industry's own rock stars, including Cheryl Penny and Michael Kitces. Before taking the main stage, Michael held court across the grounds, easily identified by his trademark blue shirt and an abundant willingness to share all that he knows. Here he shares information on how to offer pro bono services without them taking over your practice.
So practically speaking, two ways you can sort of put guardrails around it. The first is, look, if there's a certain number of clients that you want to serve because it's not profitable just doing it, cool. But define in a box what that is. Work with your core client base, and you are allowed to have 6 clients that can be a freaking train wreck and make you no money because you're doing it for goodwill, right? Have your, you don't even charge them anything. Make them your pro bono clients. Now, you have to have a limit on it because otherwise it feels good. So it's 5 and then it's 10, it's 15, that's 25. And now I'm strangling my business and creating other problems. So put a box around it. But if you want to say it all the time, I'm always going to have 6 clients I'm working on for a low dollar pro bono basis. Sure, you don't have to make every dollar for every freaking client. But if you don't put guardrails around it, you can get yourself in trouble. The second way that some advisors will do it is specifically I will work with those folks, but I'm only going to do it on an hour basis. And it's not just because I'm trying to charge by the hour. It's because it makes it transactional. Because if I say I'll take 6 pro bono clients, cool, I take my 6, and then I have to say no to all pro bono people in the future because I got 6 and I'm not allowed to take more than 6, and I've crowded all the seats in the bus. If I say look, I'll help you, it's not an ongoing, but come on in my office, I do this many slots every week or month or year or whatever it is. Look, you might help 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people over the next decade because you do it very piecemeal one at a time, and you just say look, whatever it's going to be on your calendar. Third Friday of every month from noon onwards is just my pro bono time. So I'm going to take clients in 1 or 2 hour engagements. In the aggregate, it's a half a day out of the month, so it's 5% of my total time. It's a reasonable give back, and just tell my team anybody who wants low cost or pro bono advice, it's by the hour. I'll answer whatever questions they've got. I'm going to give as much to them as I possibly can in the meeting because frankly I don't want them to continue because they're going to take slots on the bus. And now I can get all the psychic gratitude and value of giving back to my community, or just the people that I can't serve with my core model, but I'm doing it in a way that creates guardrails so I don't trap my business taking on more clients than the business can really afford, or staffing for clients I can't really afford, which then makes it worse and begins that time.
Are you leveraging social media to grow your client base? Maybe you've been frustrated by a lack of perceived results. We caught up with Tori Dunlap, New York Times bestselling author and an influencer with over 4 million followers across multiple platforms. We asked her for advice on creating content that engages and ultimately converts casual viewers to followers.
First thing is always serve before you sell when it comes to social. This is something that gets lost, unfortunately, because you get excited and you want to tell everybody about your products or tell everybody about your services. And what's happening is truly nobody cares about what you offer yet. Rather, think about how do I serve them? How do I give them education? How do I give them things that build their trust? And then when you have, a group of people who already trust you and who are already turning to you as an expert, it's a lot easier, of course, to then sell them on whatever you're selling. So serve before you sell, I think, is super important when it comes to social. The other way to start thinking about growth in terms of social media, we were talking about this in my presentation today, is creating content that is educational, that is aspirational, and that is entertaining. And if you can create content that does all 3 of those things, that teaches somebody something, that lets them imagine what their life could be like or how they could change their life, and also isn't in an accessible way that makes them excited to keep consuming your content, that content will perform great.
In this excerpt, Tony Sirianni interviews Alex Shahidi, co-CIO of Evoke Advisors, on the benefits of constructive feedback for growth.
Whenever I ask people around me, about an idea that I had and I wanted feedback, everybody says, "Oh, that's the best idea I've ever heard." That doesn't help me. I want people who challenge me and say, that's a stupid idea, and let me tell you why. Right. And what I found is when you find people that are like that, it actually helps you grow. And so I've constantly been seeking partners who provide constructive feedback, are smart in areas that I'm not smart, or good in areas that I'm not good at. And I think that's how 1 + 1 = 3 when you form these partnerships.
I find it so, we're doing this event I told you about in September, but it's for, $1 billion advisors with big teams, because it's lonely. You're sitting there and you want feedback, even though you're not a sales guy, you're still a creature that wants to, kind of mix it up with people and talk about the things you're passionate about, like investing, or this is how I want to do it. And I find a lot of big advisors end up isolated, because it's a hierarchical structure, right? So it's top down, and they feel like they don't have anybody to bounce anything off of.
That's right. Yeah. And if I think about what our mission is as an advisor, it's to constantly improve the portfolios that we manage for our clients. And that's a lifelong process. You never reach the finish line, but it's the journey of constantly improving. And to get there, you have to be an independent thinker. You have to have a different perspective. You're not necessarily going to follow the herd, but in some cases, maybe it makes sense. In other cases, it doesn't. And so you need independent insight that will help you make those improvements. So you got to find really smart people that are independent thinkers, that are not just doing what everybody else does for good reason.
Full episode is available at advisorhub.com.
Prepared for a big meeting. Well, I'm 3 days away from the Ironman World Championship in Nice. I just drove a bike course today. Nasty bike course. I'm a little scared, but I'm glad I did it. So proper preparation prevents poor performance. Just like preparing for a good meeting, preparing for a big race. I did my preparation today. 3 more days to go.
Advisors looking to transition, whether to a new BD or to a different channel, often battle the same challenges that everyone faces when approaching a big life choice. We had the chance to connect with former NFL coach Darren Roberts, a man well-versed in transitions from the gridiron to the classroom, to the speaker circuit and nonprofit work, to best-selling author and beyond, who offered his thoughts on transitions.
Listen, I think that regardless of what sector you're in, right? I was a coach where transition was built into the profession. You're hired and fired. The average tenure was 3 years in a place, right? We're constantly trading players, cutting players. So just transition. There wasn't an opportunity to get comfortable in a place when I coached football. Financial advisors, listen, I think the first thing is, what is important to you, right? What is important to you? Location, family, schools, obviously money, right? Really writing it down, because a lot of times we kind of give lip service to these concepts, but we don't write them down and rank them and say, hey, look, how important is it for me to be in San Diego? How important is it for me to be close to a national park? Some of those benefits may outweigh income, it may outweigh position, it may outweigh the size of a book of business. I think the important thing when it comes to transition and looking at opportunities is, one, it's a personal decision. Two, take the time to really dive into what's important and why is it important to you. And then take that information, make the best decision possible. Don't look back, and also realize that the great thing about transition is other opportunities will come down the path.
If you were curious to learn more about the FutureProof conference, you can find more coverage on advisorhub.com and at 3xequity.com. For advisors curious about making a move to a new broker-dealer, check out the Advisor Hub offers tool on advisorhub.com or visit 3xequity.com. Thanks for joining us for this edition of the FA Show on Advisor Hub TV, powered by 3X Equity. Before we go, here are some highlights from the music festival that capped off Tuesday night.
Nice. at a dawn.